Hello, my dear and lovely Scorpios. This is your horoscope for September 2024. Now, September, we have very important things going on. Astrologically speaking, we have eclipse in September, which makes September one of the important months in astrology, and also October, because second pair of this eclipse we will have in October in 2 weeks from this eclipse. Now, and September and October will be very important for all of us. Another thing that is going on in September, there are two planets that will set the tone for the whole next half year and even longer until April 2025. Those two planets will activate two areas of your life that will be, most active during the next half year. Now, let's start from the beginning of September. September, we will see a new moon on 3rd of September in your 11th house. And 11th house is the house of future, house of our wishes and our plans. It's our desires house, what we wish for ourselves, what kind of future we vision, and our hopes, of course. And 11th house is also our friendships, because, those people, we usually have the same hopes, sort of same direction, and look towards life, let's say. Now, our bigger society is in the 11th house, and this new moon is happening at 11 degrees, meaning those of you who are born 2nd of November will be affected the most by this new moon. New moons are all about new story and new beginnings, sort of new person in your life, depends on your situation. Now, new moon will be opposed by Saturn, meaning met by harsh angle from the planet of hard work, restrictions, and responsibilities. Saturn is our strict teacher of our universe, and it will be located in your 5th house, house of joy, house of children, and house of your business. Business owners, listen up. This is also for you. Now, new moon opposed by Saturn there seems like wherever you have a wish there or a plan, let's say to build a business or to open a business or something related to children. If you had a plan to give, let's say, your children to a new more better school, or any plans, let's say, related to your children, or even if you don't have them yet, for example, and you are on a fertility journey and you're still in the talks, let's say, with your sweetheart on this topic around this journey, opposition, I call it relationship aspect. Seems like there might be some friction, there might be some issue that you will have to sort out first before moving forward. And because it's a new moon, there is a new thing is becoming new stories and unfolding here, and it seems like it might be in some cases that, for example, you had a wish to go study somewhere abroad, or you had a wish to move somewhere, like to relocate somewhere, or I don't know, to start doing sport, whatever is that your plan for your future vision. Your kids might be restriction for you at the given period only. It doesn't mean, my dear Scorpios, never, right? It means just that this period you might have to stay home with your kids, or your kids need your attention now, your care. And some things might be, let's say, impossible to do right now because you have this sort of obligations, and Saturn will be pushing on that you have an obligation and responsibilities in front of your kids, for your kids. And this is one example, and there might be millions related to that. And some of it might be, for example, if you say I don't have kids and I'm a single, it's not related to that. It might be related to your business. For example, if you would like to, expand your business more further, let's say going online and being present and trying to open like social media accounts, Saturn seems like telling you to work harder first on your business, to work on the quality of the product or services that you are offering, to put more, let's say, effort into that first, into your business first, and then to expand it, sort of thing. For some Scorpios, it might be totally about the friendship, because 11th house is all about friendship. And it seems like you might have a disagreement with one or two of your friends, my dear Scorpios. Always go easy on yourself and on other people. And, if you want to keep that friendship, because, Saturn is also naturally rules your 3rd house, house of communication. And it seems like you might be harsh on your friend or vice versa. So try to bite your tongue around beginning of September if you want to keep that person around you, in the long run. And here same, these topics might go blend. Like, for example, if your plan was to open business with your friend, now, like in this period with this new moon, that friend might be opposing that idea. Let's say initially saying yes, but then changing the mind, or totally like from the beginning saying no. for example, and you've been hoping and relying on that friend to open it together. This is just as an example, my dear Scorpios. For some of you, there might be opportunity to open your social media page and develop there, to show your communication skills. Seems like you might be opening this sort of maybe influencer journey kind of thing, because 11th house is everything related on the internet. And for some of you, you might meet someone special, like falling in love or sort of chatting, dating, online dating sort of thing, because new moon is happening in your house of social media, internet house, and Saturn is in your house of romance, 5th house. And 5th house, covers those people that we date only in the beginning of the relationship, that period, sweet period. And it seems like, and because Saturn rules your communication house, you might actually meet someone new over internet and start chatting and let's say and falling in love, for example. Now another thing happening here will be the ruler of this new moon, Mercury, because new moon is falling in your 11th house, and your 11th house is ruled by Mercury, which will be situated in your 10th house. Now will receive very harsh angle from Uranus. Now Uranus is the planet of surprises and shocking news. You never know what Uranus brings in our lives. Now Uranus will send that harsh beam disagreement from your 7th house. Now 7th house is the house of committed partnerships, love partnerships, and business partnership, whatever partnership that we sign a paper, which is like a, let's say, real deal. Now, Mercury will be in its shadow period, meaning it is recovering from the retrograde. It recently came out from its retrograde period, meaning it's getting its pace, recovering its speed, but it's still slow, indicating to something in the past. And Uranus is already retrograding from 1st September. We will talk about a bit later. Now, these two planets indicating to something about past, or someone in your past. And having a disagreement between each other there, it might be the situation that you might have an argument with your sweetheart related to your relationship status and future, like whether to develop it further, how to deal further, or finally to break up. And it might be a bit of a shocking to you, because you might be thinking that everything is going well, but this new moon comes in and puts a light on something that you will have to discuss there, my dear Scorpios. And in some cases, it might be that not the status of your relationship, it might be the career of your sweetheart, of your spouse, or your business partner. Might have some news and shocking revelations, for example, and you might have to solve there some problem, let's say, together, of how to proceed further about your future together in terms of like finances, family budget. But anyhow, this new moon will be saved by Neptune and Pluto. These two planets will try to save the day, save the relationship, or the situation, whatever is that there in your life, my dear Scorpios. These two planets are, heavy karmic planets, and they will be supporting that Uranus, meaning making it softer. They will be sending it the friendly beam. So they will try to make it softer, that Uranus. So at the end of the day, you might receive not so much a shocking news, but more of a like logic and just catching you by surprise might be, otherwise pretty much expected news, for example. Now, let's talk about the ruler of this new moon, Mercury, because Mercury will be very interesting in September. It will activate your 3 areas of your life. 3 areas of your life. Now, in the beginning of September, it will be transiting your, 10th house, activating all your thoughts around your career. You might be thinking quite a lot of your, life calling. What is actually that you want to do and devote your life to, for example, career-wise, in terms of your job, daily work, for example, and your mind seems like will be swirling around that topic. Or in some cases, it might be about your social status, like if you want to become a parent, if you want to become let's say, married or getting divorced or single, all these things, maybe you want to become a business owner, for example. Now, 9th of September, Mercury moves into your 11th house where this new moon happened. When Mercury hits your 11th house, that's when you might get the actual news from the new moon. Always allow new moons and full moons 5 days plus and 5 days minus around the date it appears, so that it will deliver the news. And when Mercury hits your 11th house, it might be by then only when Mercury delivers the news of the new moon, because Mercury is the little, postman of the universe. And for the most September, seems like you will be busy with your friendships and quite a lot of chatting and some sort of plans for your future, prioritizing, and even might be attending a couple of shows or social events, those big events that people gather, or even just simple as visiting a museum or a gallery or something. Now, also 11th house is everything related to social media and internet. You might be busy chatting online with your friends, with all the people around you, be quite active. You might be being very active in September online. Now, by the end of September, 26th of September, we have Mercury moving into your 12th house. That's a house of rest, and it seems like this will be the time when your mind wants to rest, and your mind will switch to sort of, travel mode, or a mode of retreat, where to have a vacation kind of mode, and even like booking some sort of travels, buying some tickets, and all the stuff, like planning, full-time planning. And in some cases it might be also health related questions. Now, Mars, let's talk about Mars, because Mars will be one of the planets who will set the tone for the next half year, even more, until April. On 4th of September, Mars, it's your ancient ruler, my dear Scorpios, and also your modern ruler of your 6th house, now house of work. Now, Mars will hit your 9th house. As soon as it hits your 9th house, it will activate the topic of your half year, for your half year. Because, Mars will retrograde this year. It's very unusual for Mars to stay in one sign that long. But because it's retrograding, meaning slowing down and moving backwards to time period, then it will go back direct again. That's why it will stay longer time in one part of your chart, in one part of your life. And it will return back to your 9th house only after, New Year, on 6th of January, to leave only in April. That's how long it will activate your 9th house. You see how universe is trying you to focus on that part of your life. Now, Mars retrogrades every 2 years. And 9th house is all about, broadening your mind, searching for a life meaning kind of thing. What is the meaning of your life? What are you doing, let's say, with your life? These kind of questions will be very important in upcoming months up until April. And it seems like you might be busy even traveling, because Mars is a planet of activities. It's a planet of action and desire, motivation. Seems like you might be traveling quite a lot until next year, April, because 9th house is the house of travel, or an house of immigration, house of relocation. You might be even relocating if that was your plan. Let's say gathering some documents and applying to those visa papers, all things related to, travel papers, or citizenship papers. And you might be actually moving during this time too. Not some of you might only starting like paperwork for that reason, and some of you might be already moving, like actually doing the thing. And 9th house is also all about, related foreign things, like foreign people, foreign languages, cultures, and foreign information. If you are a student, then it seems like by the beginning of September, you might be traveling to abroad, to start your studies. But it seems like it might be only lasting until April. It might be just a course, sort of. And you might be studying foreign language, let's say, or meeting quite a lot of foreigners, because 9th house, as I said, are related to those foreign things. Now, also, 9th house is a legal affairs house. Now, if you're involved in the legal affairs, like let's say a legal case, or you're just following some case, if you're not involved in some process, like legal process, then, Mars moving into your 9th house might activate those topics, and you might be furious to fighting in those cases. And so just so you know that the final ruling only seems like might happen in April. Until April, there will be a period when, some things will be on pause for whatever reason is there, maybe because of the documents or bureaucracy or whatever reason there. But something will be on pause, in your case. and only the final ruling might happen only in April, and you will know the results only by end of April, my dear Scorpios. Now, also, ninth house is our teachers and wisdom house. You might meet someone as you would consider your teacher or your mentor, someone from whom you would learn, like you will learn a lot and communicate a lot. And you might be meeting such a person during the this period while Mars will be transiting your ninth house. And because ninth house is also in general religion and beliefs and convictions, this kind of house mentality, seems like Mars will be changing it and activating it for you in your life. It gets activated. You might be, let's say, visiting those religious places or church, or let's say mosque, whatever is that. Like, you might be quite active in that area. This is like for some of you guys. For some of you guys, it might be totally about work. As I said, Mars rules your work situation, and you might be traveling because of work, or you might be immigrating because you got a new position somewhere abroad, for example, or a job offer somewhere abroad, or you might become a teacher, like change your position to become a mentor, to become a teacher now, teaching other people for something, and most likely you will be using a different language and teaching people from a different backgrounds and cultures, let's say. For some of you, it might be about a health situation. You might be seeking some sort of consultation from a foreign hospital or clinics, or from foreign physician, for example, and a specialist. Now, this was Mars, activating your ninth house area of your life. Now, let's talk about eclipse, which is another important thing happening in September. Now, on 18th of September, we have full moon lunar eclipse in your fifth house. I will have a whole separate video on eclipse, and where I will dive deep more in detail, because it's very a huge topic. Here I would like you briefly mention that full moons are usually all about conclusions. They end something, they finish something in our life, and or they put some attention into something in our life, and it's happening in the fifth house at 25 degrees, meaning those of you who are born around 16th of November will be affected the most by this eclipse. This eclipse will be speaking to you directly. Now, fifth house is all about joy, because fifth house is our creativity house, where we create. And what we create, who we create, children we create out of joy. That's why it's also here. Your kids are here. Your business, it's like your baby that you've created, right? Out of joy and satisfaction and pleasure. That's why it's also here. And your creativity, your talents, your hobbies, because you enjoy whatever are those your hobbies, right? That's why also fifth house rules your hobbies and talents. Now, eclipses are amazing tools of the universe. They are like move us on a rocket ship to the point of our life that we, let's say, could have achieved only in a million years. Why? Because we are humans, we are reluctant, we are indecisive sometimes, right? Not always, but let's say sometimes, and we doubt ourselves. Now, eclipses, they are, they work in a way that they turn the situation fastly, abruptly, and there is a need for urgent sort of a decision, and you will feel the need, and you will feel like, oh, I want to get rid of this situation fast, and I need to decide now. But stop and pause during eclipse season. Why? Because it's never advisable to make decisions during eclipse season, because those decisions will be hard to change. Now, this eclipse will be conjunct to ruler Neptune. Neptune is the planet of magic and illusions also. And, whatever Neptune touches in astrology, it makes it confusing. An eclipse, without even speaking about Neptune, is already a confusing thing, because eclipse season brings all the dust in the universe up, swirls it, so you never know how that dust falls, So allow eclipse to give you all the details, to settle down, and then make the decisions, informed decisions. And it's better to do by the end of November. Why? Because eclipses are very strong, and they have 10 full moons power, and that's why their influence is longer. You might have got your news of this eclipse already by the end of July or by the end of August, or you might get your news now in September, or if it will not be September, then it might be October and November. So that's how long, 2 months before, 2 months after the eclipse, it's still very active and influential. Now, eclipse happening in your fifth house, and that eclipse will not be the happy one, let's say, met by Jupiter, because Jupiter is the planet of luck and planet of happiness and abundance. But Jupiter somehow will not be happy with that eclipse, and Jupiter will be situated in your eighth house. Sorry. Now you see, your conception and children's house are connected here. There is an opportunity, sort of a magic, to conceive. If that was your wish, try to make an effort here. I would advise you, if that's your strong wish, because these two houses, they rule your conception journey, fertility journey, having babies journey, your children's as well. In some cases, because Jupiter rules your second house. Now, second house is the house of values, what you value in life, and also it's a house of money. And there is two houses that are linked, money houses. Eighth house is also a house of other people's money. And it seems like here, especially those of you who've been, trying to develop your own business or open a business, seems like this full moon will show you that it's not good time for that. You might have been now closing that business because of, I don't know, lack of finances. Sort of there is an issue with money, or because there was not enough profit, for example. There might be many sort of reasons, but it seems like it's tied with your money and money generating abilities, and also giving back, sort of taking loans or something. It might be that bank haven't approved you a loan to develop further your business, and it seems like you might be the closing, shutting the doors of your business. And for some of you, it might be that totally about your kids' situation, especially those of you who have kids. Now, it might be that, let's say, your kid didn't get student, let's say, scholarship, and you might be now funding yourself, trying to help your children financially. And they might have gotten a rejection from financial institutions as well, like from banks or wherever is that they provide money for their studies. This is also one example. In another case, it might be related to a health situation of your kid here, and you might be spending money because you will need to find a good specialist, good doctors, or I don't know, go to some procedures, not you but your kids, and you have to supply, financially support their treatment. For some of you guys, it might be totally about love situation, because fifth house is a true love house. It's a house of romance. It's a house of dating, It's a flirting house. That's where we have a joy, right? When we start dating. That's why your dating is here in your fifth house, in a joy house. It might be that there could be some situation which will be stressful, and you might end that relationship. And that relationship won't be something that you've, let's say, committed, but some relationship that you've recently started, let's say, seeing each other and all the stuff. And it might be the point of this month that you will finish that relationship, or you've done already so by the end of August or by the end of July, or it will come up now by the end of October or November, because you're making that decision, because eclipse is already at work. We just never know when we get the news. But it seems like something is so unclear here, something is very foggy. I would advise you to wait, to hold your decision, and only make clear decisions with the facts and information that will be falling only by the end of eclipse season, which will happen in December. That will be the better time to make decision if you've been thinking to finish your relationship. And it seems like that relationship could be because of the financial situation or some sort of critical situation, crisis house. Jupiter is in your crisis house right now, in 8th house. There might be some situation, even a surgery, for example, because of which you will have to stop that relationship. This is as one example, my dear Scorpios. And here I would definitely not advise you to invest, probably, because there's a huge topic of money tied in with this eclipse, and to invest into some business or into something is not advisable right now, especially in those coins and shares and all the stuff. And there might be also a situation of inheritance going on for some of you. You might be yourself writing a will, or someone else will be changing a will. But somehow you won't be liking what will be going on with that inheritance. But anyhow, this eclipse will be supported by karmic planets. And, about them, I will talk more deeper in a separate video. And those karmic planets will form a grand trine. Now, grand trine in astrology is an amazing aspect, very fluent one and supportive one. And those heavy planets, karmic planets, they will be supportive of that eclipse, which means you will need that change in your life. Whatever will be happening, try to not regret. Try to release it with ease. Try to make up a space in your life for something new, because full moons at the end, they are conclusions. So whatever is finishing in your life, try to close the book gracefully, let's say. Now, Sun, on 22nd of September, we have Sun moving in your 12th house. This will be the time when, you will focus on your retreat, on your rest. This will be the time. It's before your birthday period time. And it seems like, when Mercury moves by 26th of September into your 12th house to join the Sun, who will be there already from 22nd, seems like your mind will switch to a totally rest kind of mode. You might be planning a trip somewhere near water to relaxation, to some hotel. You might be planning to take a rest, because when Sun moves into our 12th house, it's the time like we are energetically lowest. We want to be alone. We want to be in solitude. We want to recharge, sort of, because when Sun hits your Scorpio sign, that's when you will get energy boost for your solar year, upcoming solar year, my dear Scorpios. So take time to have a rest and retreat and deal with all the things related to past, because it seems like you might be finishing, and it will be amazing time to do so. Now, on 23rd of September, I would like to tell you that Venus, planet of love and beauty, moving into your first house. That will be amazing, because exactly, and Sun and Mercury is in your 12th house and Venus is in your first house. This is amazing time will be to pump up yourself, like going to some beauty procedures or retreatments like massage or something for yourself. Meditate. Try to boost, let's say, your mentality, let's say, or mental health. Try to love yourself, show love to yourself, because when Venus is in our house, we feel the most amazing time, like loving ourselves, and we attract a lot of attention because we are irresistible to others. Venus makes you so when it moves into your first house, into your sign. And during, when Venus is in our sign, we are capable of convincing anyone into anything. So use that power if you need, but use that wisely and convince into something good, my dear Scorpios. And, for example, some luxury treatments, with your friends, and indulging into amazing trip together, some travel together, and choosing some amazing hotel and those procedures for you, as an example. And a little word about Uranus that I promised in the beginning of the video. Uranus is the planet of surprises and shocking news. And now Uranus, 1st September, went retrograde, meaning moving backwards. It started moving backwards on 1st September until 30th of January 2025 in your 7th house. Now, 7th house is all about partnerships. It's all about other people. Now, the most important relationships in your life. Uranus's effect are more on the subconscious level. They, because it's a karmic, heavy planet, heavy moving, slow moving planet, it affects us on the subconscious level, on the level of our spiritual growth. It gives us opportunity to go inwards for answers. And it's mostly like, manifest in the way that we think about some area of our life constantly or time to time, popping up in our mind. It's not necessarily we are verbalizing what we think or what is in our mind. We don't say it, but it's, like a tape, always on in the sort of background kind of noise. But this Uranus retrograde is a bit interesting because you might have quite a lot of deja vu moments. Like last year, not like last year, but because of last year. Because Uranus went retrograde the same period last year, from September until January. So this Uranus's retrograde, might bring you, thinking back to the decisions that you've made last year, the same period, from September until January. What has happened there? What happened during that period last year? Have you made the right decisions? And time to time, you might be thinking, your mind would be like, playing, let's say, games with you about the situations and people and, events that had taken place in your life during that period. And this time, you will be sort of reflecting on those things, like on the decisions that you've made, on the things that you went through last year. as an example. And you might be catching yourself time to time, oh, this has happened already. This is repeating itself, sort of kind of moments, might be popping up too until 30th of January 2025. But this is a good time, good opportunity from the universe given to you to check up on yourself and, to be grateful to yourself for the decisions that you've made, and to be sorry for the decisions that you've made wrong, and whatever is there to, to be loving to yourself. It's all about our spiritual growth. Don't be harsh on yourself. Just be reflective and grateful, and of course forgiving, my dear Scorpios. Now, I wish you amazing September. Stay tuned for an eclipse video, because that will be a very important one where we will go into details. And don't forget to check your rising sign and moon sign, because those two are very important. They will give you more information. It might be that September your rising sign is more active, and it might give you more clues of what's going on in your life, or your moon sign, so you never know. Check all three signs. And I love you all, and bye-bye.